Hi guys, welcome back. Ray Henderson out of Morristown, Tennessee. In last Friday's video, I called it part 1 for a reason because I felt like the video might run too long if we did the whole card from start to finish. And I told you last week we would finish this up and get the card made, and so we will. Sorry guys, a few minutes ago, I had just taken a sip of water and was getting ready to swallow when I had the urge to sneeze. Well, that didn't end well, and I'm still a little bit kind of choked up. Sorry about that. Anyway, in the past week, the more I looked at this and the more I looked at it, the more I realized there was no way I was going to camouflage where I got out. How I did that, I don't know. Leave it to me to do that. So I did start over. I started over, and you'll notice this time I did go ahead and add the detail to the leaves, and I think it kind of brought that out a little bit. The tops of my small mushrooms are a deeper red, a brighter red. And I did bring in a third color for foliage, which I just felt like really polished that off. The only thing I left out, so on the door there was a mail slot, a peekaboo window, not sure. I never had a door like that. And I did leave it off of this one. So we're just going to go ahead and finish putting this together as a card. And I did not tell you last week, but along with the Mushroom House Stencils by Lisa Horton, she also has a die that will cut out the whole thing. So we're going to get ready. We're going to cut that out. I've got my Gina K Intricate here. And I've tried to raise my camera a little bit. Oops, if it made it shake. So sorry. I'm going to get this lined up. I'm going to put some tape on it to make sure it doesn't shift, because it is such a large die. And so I'm looking to make sure I've got the same amount of space around all of it. The bottom, the sides, the foliage up here. I don't want to cut anything off. It may take me a second to hold my mouth right. Okay. And guys, overlook my lack of a fresh manicure. I had an appointment today, and I went, and I was there early, as is my habit. And I walk in, and the owner's looking at me, and she go, you have an appointment? I said, yes, I did, for 10:30. Oh, you not written down. Whoever I talked to yesterday evening didn't write it down for whatever reason. Things happen, right? So I've got an appointment for tomorrow. However, that didn't help me needing to get this filmed and get it uploaded to YouTube for you. Yeah, yours truly is the one that is always behind the gun. Always, always. And we keep getting rain, and I'm not complaining. Because the one thing I have learned in life is God goes before us in all things. He is ahead of us before we know we need Him to be ahead of us and working things out, right? So, not going to argue, because, you know, the rain could go away and we could go into a drought conditions for the rest of the summer, right? So there we go. We've got it die cut, and I think that came out fairly well. Could have been a little bit better, but it's good. It'll work. Let me retrieve my die. I'm putting it behind me so I can get it back in the packaging after we are done here. Now, one thing I do want to point out, and let me close this up. Poor little thing needs good cleaning. Okay. So I decided I was going to put some texture paste to kind of give that a little bit more dimension. Can you see how that's kind of sticking up there? And I did the same on the little ones, but the little dots are so tiny. I mean, you can feel it, but you can't really see. that there is that dimension. So I took by Ranger my texture paste opaque matte, and I did a layer and I let it dry, and what I noticed was that it was bringing some of that red ink up through the texture paste, because you can color this either when it's wet or you can add color to it after it's dried. So after it was good and dry, I did one more coat. It was still kind of faintly kind of peachy colored, and so at that point I just took a white paint pen and just went over the tops. They're still not like stark white, but I thought that came out really well. So I hope you agree. And of course, you know, I could have done metallic inks on this or anything, but I wanted to try it this way. I've taken a piece of bright green cardstock and an old retired embossing folder for the backdrop for this card, because some of the ideas I had, it was just too much. It was kind of too busy, and the focal point was getting lost. And I thought, okay, we're just going to bring it back a little bit, and we are going to tone it down so that the focal point can be the focal point. And we're going to get this on. And of course, I will be using a bit more glue than I normally would because of that beautiful, intricate embossing. And just get enough on there where I know it's going to hold really well. And my card base is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And I think I'm straight. Sometimes when I emboss with these really thick images, I'm going to pick this up and try this again. That's sad. That's just really sad. There we go. I think I'm straight now. I think so. Yeah, that looks good. Straight across the top. And then we're just going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm not going to pop it up because there's already that dimension with that texture paste. But yeah, there is a die that you can get, and there is an embossing folder that you can get to go with this. Try to kind of make sure my focal point is straight. Am I straight? I am. I need my big block that's clean-ish. Kind of lay down over that. And I do have my sentiment ready. And the sentiment came from, it's by Hero Arts, Hello Fungi. And I think that it's still available. But this is one of the greetings in that set. Hope your day is pure magic. And I thought, well, this is perfect. If I need a birthday card, I'm good. If I need a congratulations card, I'm good. You know, any kind of celebration in life, I'm good. And we're just going to glue this and put this down. I hadn't really thought, but I think I'm going to put it up there. Initially, I thought about taking this and moving it up and putting my sentiment on the bottom, but honestly, it actually looked better to do it this way, to plan it this way. So we're going to get this. And we're going to glue that down straight-ish. Yeah, I've got ink stains and everything on my fingers, and it just is. It just is what it is. You wouldn't have seen them if I had gotten my manicure today, but that's okay. For some reason, for whatever reason, it was not meant to be. I trust God's timing. Talking about God's timing, guys, the mountain road that we take to go into town, because otherwise going the other way adds 5 miles to getting into town. So like it had not been paved in over 20 years. And they had patched and patched to the point that it was bumpy, potholes, like you could your speed had to be extremely low. I actually clocked myself a few times doing no more than 5 miles an hour. The road was that bad. Hallelujah, praise God, they got it paved yesterday. And I got to drive on it today, and it was just like, oh, this is awesome. This is wonderful. But they worked all day. In fact, they worked past 7 o'clock last night to get that done. And we're only talking like a mile's worth of road, but it's a corkscrew. Okay, it goes like this all the way to the bottom. When you get to the bottom, there's a hairpin curve. Yeah, and it's very narrow. There are a lot of people intimidated by that road and refuse to go down that road. But we are so happy, and yes, what an awesome blessing. So here we go. Here is that card all put together. I hope you get that set of stencils. Is it a little fiddly? Yes, I'm being honest. By the time you get to stencil 7, you're going to be masking off windows, you're going to be masking off doors, you're going to be masking off mushrooms to fill in the rest of the foliage. And then when you've got that done, then you're going to mask off your foliage and you're going to expose your mushrooms. And you know what I'm saying? There is some work to it. However, isn't that adorable? I hope you liked it. I hope it was worth the wait. And I do want to show you, I've been playing a little bit here and there. So the other day in the mail, I got a piece of junk mail. And it was this. And if I fold this down, the address is on the other side, so I can't show it to you. But here is that paper. But when I saw this, I thought, I'm going to make a card out of that. And so I did. And so I managed to get a piece big enough for the front. Now, I heat embossed that with black embossing powder. I did not do the clear. I did the black. And I can't make it show how much thicker and denser it is by using the black powder instead of clear over black pigment ink. I did a little bit of splatter. I thought that was, well, it's something I enjoy doing. And then I was able to salvage another little piece and put it on the inside. I stamped some hearts, put in a greeting, and there, boom. And I didn't have to buy the paper that I used. So that was a win-win. And you remember a couple of weeks ago, we did a mixed media card. In fact, here's the original one that we did. Well, I made another one, and I don't know if I tilt this just right. Do you see the shimmery splatter in the background? Oh, I don't know. Oh, I can't. I can barely see it myself, and some of it is extremely fine. But in person, that little bits of coppery look really do stand out. And I was into making backgrounds. This one actually got made into a card. The only thing I have not finished is the inside. But again, there is some shimmer on the embossed brick in the background. Don't know if you can see that. And there was different color of shimmer put on the leaves. And again, don't know if that's showing up for you. I've got a couple of backgrounds here I'm not real sure what to do with. I love this one. I truly love this. Again, it's got some of that distressed spritz on there in peacock feathers. And then there's this one. So either one of these would be great for a guy's card. Maybe a classic automobile or something like that. I'm not sure yet. And I had the dickens of a time walking away from my alcohol inks. And I ordered a couple of new colors. And I thought I had my swatches here. I ordered Chronicle and Smudge. And oh my heavens, I'm loving Smudge. But anyway, it's just been a lot of fun to sit and play. I'm going to put that to the side. So let's go ahead and get ready to do today's card. And I will go just as quick as I can. And I am going to be getting out my sticky mat. I have this morning stamped out my images before I left to run errands. So this is what we're going to be working with. It comes from Gina K's Delicate Flowers. There's stamps, there's dies, there's stencils, and there's polyglaze. And I've used all of mine. You get 3 large sheets. One has just all the sentiments repeated a few times. One has all your flowers. One has all the foliage. And we're talking 8.5 by 11. We're not talking small sheets here. And I have used them all. It has just been wonderful. So today, for today's card, I've stamped the flower twice. I've stamped 6 sets of leaves. I seriously doubt that we're going to need that many. But, you know, better to have too many is not enough at all. And so as we go, I will show you how this hopefully will come together. Now, I don't have a sample card made with these colors. I wanted something I've just got this tropical thing going on. The sentiment, let me go ahead because I know I'll forget to tell you. The sentiment comes from Penny Black, Sympathy Sentiments, and I pulled the So Sorry. Had a lady at church who lost one. Okay. Had a miscarriage. And so I really want to make a card that's not like loud in her face, but that it's appealing, uplifting. And we won't be doing the inside of the card today at all, because that's something that I will do in private. But anyway, so for all of you out there who have lost children, either before they were born or after they were born, I pray for you guys. I truly do. We have a wonderful support group here local to Morristown, and it is women who have lost children. And I was so blessed at one point to be invited to come and sit in and help them make their first handmade cards they've ever made. So it went really well. They loved it. But man, I got to tell you, there wasn't a dry eye in the house as they all kind of gave their testimonies, if they felt like it, about who they had lost and when they had lost them. So I'll never forget that. That was just wonderful. It was wonderful. It was sad, but it was joyous, and it was good. All right, so on these stencils, you have stencil 1 and stencil 2. Really doesn't matter what order you go in. And we're only going to be using the flower and the leaves. So, where am I at in the camera? I'm back a little bit, aren't I? Let me try to straighten this up. And you may have noticed, so on my stamp here, I put some blue Sharpie quite some time back. And so when I stamp it with that blue at the very bottom, like I did here. Hopefully, that's going to help me line this stencil up, but we'll see. It's a stencil 1, yes, and I don't know if you can see that right down there, but it does say Delicate Flowers 1. And do I have this anywhere where I need it? I may be totally off base. You know, I marked the stamp and I marked the die so that it was easy to line the die up. That, you know, I didn't mark the stencil. Am I there? No. Okay. Let's see what I can do here. Now that's a real skinny one. These are overlapping here, and so are those. I would have thought that I was pretty close. but I'm not. Oh, heavens, here we go. Maybe I should have gone ahead and had this out and lined this up. Oh, all right. I am going to 360 it because none of that is really up. I think I'm on to something here. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And of course it's sticking to my sticky mat, which I want it to do. Just not yet. So now I'm trying to make sure I'm not exposing the petals underneath, because that will come in stencil 1. Okay. And by the way, I did stamp this with Ranger Archival ink. I did that this morning, and so that's the ink stains because it's archival ink. And I may have to tape that. I'm not sure yet. And I'm going to try Squeeze Lemonade. I don't use that very often because it is such an intense bright yellow. And then for the second layer, we're going to use Spice Marmalade. Kind of a yellow and orange. A little bit on the brighter side. Yeah, so we're going to see how this goes. We'll see how it comes out. And I think I have picked out my color scheme for the leaves. Y'all see me a lot of times default to the Citron. Come on, what's the rest of that name? And Mowed Lawn. But I'm going to change that up today. And so I want a good amount of color without it being too bright. I need to get my little mat over here. When I have room and I have my silicone mat down, it doesn't go anywhere. I don't have that out today, so let me get out my handy dandy tool here. That'll help. And I'm putting more of the color, the darker part of the color, in the middle. And then I'm kind of feathering it out. It may not look that way, but kind of feathering it out to the ends. Okay, so there's that one. And since I stamped the other one the exact same way, should be able to move this over and line it right up. Hallelujah. Okay. And guys, I had the best birthday last weekend. Oh my. Birthday was actually Sunday, same day as Father's Day, which I thought was awesome. And the celebration actually started on Saturday because my mother-in-law had called me Thursday or Friday. And she said, I want to cook you a birthday dinner. And she said, and you've got choices. Well, she started telling me what the first choice was. And I said, yep, that's it. So you want to know what I fell in love with? And when we got there, it was even better than I expected. It's funny how that works. Sauerkraut and weenies. Loved it. Oh my heavens. I could have pigged out on just that. She had home-cooked beans, cornbread, fried potatoes, and salmon patties. Oh my word. Amazing. It was awesome. It was awesome, awesome. Okay, that's stencil number 1. We're going to bring in stencil number 2. And I'm wondering if I need to do the same thing with this one. Let me rotate it. But yeah, it was amazing. And on top of that, she had this wonderful, beautiful delphinium. I don't think ever I have planted or grown delphiniums. I don't think I have. All right, I'm looking here. Yep. Okay, there we go. I just got to hold my mouth right and get it all lined up. I'm in the right place. I am in the right place. Anyway, this thing is just non-stop gorgeous. I'm loving it. I've got it on my back porch. I couldn't bring it in here to show you guys because it's really tall. Like, it is a substantial plant. It wasn't any little thing. Not at all. Just gorgeous. And of course, I've got some wonderful birthday cards. Absolutely. I may, if this video doesn't run too long, show you some of them I got. I'm not that put together, not that organized, so I don't have them all in here, but I've got a good portion of them. Alright, so now I'm going in, and I'm actually putting that orange down quite a bit because it's not going to show. These are the bottom petals, and they're being overlaid by the yellow petals. So the petals are going to be smaller in size because they're being covered up. So I'm not going to hesitate about really getting that orange in there. Let's see what it looks like. Not bad. Festive, festive. Okay, let's get this one lined up. Gonna turn that just a hair. Am I good? I think I am. Okay. And yeah, I could have two-toned it. I could have put, you know, a heavier hand in the middle and then lighter going out to the edges. But, you know, there's going to be a few things going on in this card before all is said and done. Okay. So there we go. There is that one. So now, let's get ready to attack the leaves. I say attack. Let's get ready to do the leaves. I'm going to move this for just a second so I can get my alcohol and my microfiber cloth so that I can clean, simply because I don't want to accidentally bring that in with the greens. Not at all. Now when I do mine, I start from the outside in. That's just the way you're going to want to do it because you don't want to get any of these little petals bent or broke. Okay, so we've got that one, and I need to clean this one because we're going to be using both of these. So, okay, it's been a while since I've used this. It really has. It's been a good while. I want to make real sure that's good and dry. Okay, because I don't need anything to happen at this point. Alright, let me just kind of press that down. And we are back to stencil 1. And on this one, if I remember right, you had to turn it over. On some of these, I think we will have to turn it over. Make sure that's lined up. But that's going to be that leaf right there. And let me bring in, so believe it or not, we're going to use rustic wilderness and pine needles. So we're going to start with the rustic wilderness. Oh my heavens, I don't need that. Let me make sure, without getting my head in the camera, I'm thinking I'm beyond that bottom border on that leaf, so let me just redo this ever so quickly. There we no, I had it. I had it. Oh my. Here we go. So I hope you guys have been having a great, blessed week. Can't seem to get away from the rain right now, but I have a feeling, God knows, we're going to need our water tables built up. because he is so good to know what, he does know what lies ahead. So, all right. I don't want it super, super dark, but I do want a good coating on there. And we're going to line this one up. And I may be making too many leaves, guys. I really don't know. But all I can do is try to plan. Best laid plans of mice and men. You know how that goes. I mean, we can try to do our part. Doesn't always turn out the way we want it to, does it? Especially in card making. Okay, I've got that one. It's not quite as dark as that one, which is fine. It's close enough. And I don't mind a little bit of tonality here at all. I love stencils. I haven't mastered stencils in any way, shape, or form. But I love them. And I figure if I really dig in there and start practicing more, of course, you know, like with anything else, the more you practice, the better you get with it. Okay, so there's that. I think I'm just going to spray my rag and wipe my stencil off screen, because I think, if I remember right, you have to turn that stencil over to continue with the big leaves, the bigger ones. So, let me see. So if I flip this over, yes, now it's going to do these leaves. Isn't that cool, the way she designed that? I swear it, lady's a genius. Her and Jennifer McGuire. I mean, they blow me away. Blow me away. And I did see her new release a couple of nights ago, and I'm going, drool, drool, drool. She always knocks it out of the park with her new stuff. I tell you, somebody, I wish they would try their hand at designing stamp sets, and that would be Jennifer McGuire. I mean, she just aces everything, and I'm really surprised at this point in time that she does not have her own stamp line. Of course, you know, we can't all be everything, right? We can't be everything to everybody. And I already realize that I have messed up a little bit. That's okay. We're going to backtrack. We're going to get that took care of. Okay. And before I lift it up from there, I need to get my pine needles going as well. So, can y'all even see over here? So I've got Rustic Wilderness off to the side. I'm going to put my pine needles here. And I believe this was my pine needles brush. And I just want to put some, little bit, for some shade, some shadow. And now, like I said, I've got to backtrack now on the ones I did. What do you think? Do you like how that is kind of shaded in a little bit with the pine needles? You wouldn't have thought that that real deep blue green would go with that more neutral green, but I kind of felt like it did. Okay. Am I good? I may, at this point, actually have enough on my brush for this one. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And that means that I'm going to have to clean this and flip it over and backtrack. Sorry about that, guys. But I enjoy y'all being here with me. I hope you enjoy being here with me as much as I enjoy the knowing that you're taking time out of your busy day out of your schedule. Whoops, wrong brush. To be here with me. At this point, some of you may just kind of be tuning in to see what shenanigans I get into this time. And you wouldn't be wrong. It's never a dull moment around here, I'm telling you. Truly. Okay, we're almost caught up. Looky there. See, it didn't take but a second. And if you're watching on a portable device, your cell phone, tablet, laptop, something like that, hit your settings button and find playback speed and speed me up. Yep. I don't see a thing wrong with that. Now, I dipped my rustic wilderness brush into the pine needles. And I'm not sure how much I got on there, so I'm just kind of wiping some of that off. And that is the big leaves. So now I should be able to do the smaller leaves. Do I have here? Guys, I just don't have much room here. Ugh. Don't know. Alright, I need my rustic wilderness. I'm going to fill that in. I'm having to hold this for dear life because the cardstock is so much, takes up so much room on my sticky mat. I can't really use my sticky mat to hold down the stencil. Okay. Got that one. Whoops. Not so fast, boo-boo. Hold on. And I don't know why it is when I'm by myself in my card room, I do fairly well. I truly do. I usually do pretty good. Oh, heavens. All right. Okay. Now I need to go back to my rustic wilderness. And then we'll get this die cut. I have pretty much my card base done. We just need to score it and fold it. But it's cut. Oh, come on. Okay. All right. I'm going to hold this up close for you here in a minute, but I'm going to have to move this over so then I have a little bit more room. A little bit more room. But I think she's genius on these stencils. And there were some things I would have changed on the Lisa Horton stencils. I mean, I think some elements could have been spread out a little bit better on some of the other stencils, you know. But I'm not a designer. There's a reason why I'm not a designer, so what do I know? Okay. Alright, so at this point, I need to wipe this off again. I'm spritzing it over here to the side. Y'all don't mind if you see this part or not, do you? Okay. Alright, now I'm going to flip it. I'm going to make sure it's dry. And, yep. Let's get this put together. Yeah, it is highly unusual for us, especially in June, to be getting the amount of rain that we're getting. I got to be careful. I don't want to get real happy and get green into my flowers. So I don't want to do that. Okay. Got that one. Line this one up. Okay, go back to my rustic wilderness. Fill this in. But yeah, it was wonderful. And my mother-in-law sent us home with enough leftovers. I didn't have to cook Sunday. I could just come straight home from church, not have to go by the grocery store, you know, make any stops. And it was marvelous. Marvelous. Man, it was so good. I kind of hogged the sauerkraut and weenies. and it wasn't hot dogs she cut up in it. I think they were like links. But anyway, it was amazing. It was so good. It was so, so good. All right, hallelujah. We are done. Let me make sure I get the right lid on the right ink pad. Okay. I'm going to set these over to the side. I'm going to get these inky brushes put back in my holder. I'm going to lay this to the side so we can get ready. I'm going to remove my still need to be cleaned stencils gently. I'm going to lay those to the side. Peel this up. And I don't even know what I did with my... Here they are. Here's my sheet. I'm going to go ahead and cover it for now just to protect even more dust and stuff getting on there. But before I actually put it away, I do go over it. A little bit of water, microfiber cloth, just to make sure that, you know, there's nothing on there, so that I have all confidence when I get it back out, I'm good to go. And I don't have to be surprised with any lint. Okay, so now we have this, and I am going to get my scissors, and I'm going to rescue the 2 flower petals so we can get ready to die cut those. And that should fit in my machine. However, unfortunately I can only die cut 2 at a time, and maybe I should have pre-done some of this again for you. It's a hard balancing act to know how much to pre-do in a video, how much is going to be boring for people. So here's the flower die. There's my little blue mark there on the bottom. If you can see, it's kind of wore off at this point. I love this set so much. And there are my leaves. I'm going to lay this to the side and get this lined up. Alright, now I did it this way, so my die should, yep, see, right there. Right there it is. When you get your die and your stamp and you know they're lined up, just go ahead and mark it with a Sharpie. Because you're not going to be using alcohol #1 on a photopolymer stamp. If you do, you're going to ruin it. Chances are you're not going to be cleaning your dies with alcohol, right? So it will stay there. And I'm going to get a little piece of tape here. My husband asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and every year it's like, well, I don't know. I mean, there was just not really anything I thought I wanted, and then it occurred to me, yes, please, I would love a gift certificate from scrapbook.com. And he got me one. He asked me yesterday, he said, oh, when are you going to use it? Well, I don't know. I'm thinking. I'm planning. So, I don't know exactly what I'll get with it yet. One of the things I seriously need is some more Gina K medium pockets. And if she's out on her website, I might be in luck. And it may be that scrapbook.com will have them. So we'll see. All right, let's get this lined up and taped. Yeah, it is right. Just got to make sure I have the same distance around both sides, if I can. Make sure I'm not cutting off my stem. Okay, that looks pretty good. Nope, got two pieces there. Put that down. And get this one going. Okay. It doesn't help that I'm standing back a little ways from this and I just don't have my head right over it. I don't know about you guys, but I almost have to have my head right over everything. And I'm going to put yet another small piece right there. Right in the middle. Hold them both down for good measure. And because I've cut these apart, I'm going to get out one of my mini machines. This was a Stampin' Up! Special edition in their boho blue. And I think boho blue has now retired. I don't know if they have it in white all the time. So I don't know if this one is still available or not. I don't keep up anymore, guys. I don't. I do still have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and occasionally I do order a little bit of cardstock or DSP or something. But it's not like it used to be. Not at all like it used to be. Okay, we can get that off. This out. This out. Okay, very good. I'm happy. I'm happy. Okay, good, good. So we got those two. I'm going to throw my scrap in the floor because I don't have time to walk over to the trash can. And we're going to go for round 2 on the leaves. And let's go ahead and get that centered the best I can. Hopefully it'll come out as good as it did the first time. Hopefully. Okay. Put that down. Here's the other one. Get this going. I'm trying to go fast, guys, but when it comes to something like this, you know, we've spent all this time doing the ink blending, yada yada. I think I would just about cry if, because I was trying to go really fast, I just totally messed it up. And it looks to me like that shifted just a hair right there. So I am going to go back in with another piece. And let's get these two done. I'm wondering if I need to cut out all 6. I don't know. Don't know. I did have presence of mind to get a fresh piece of press and seal. Okay, that one came out good. That one came out good. Yes. Let's go ahead and die cut it. It's honestly only going to add a minute or 2 to the video. And again, go into your settings and speed me up. Beam me up, Scotty. Okay. Here we go. If I was Jennifer McGuire or Gina, Or there's a bunch more I could mention. I would be faster. And as bad as I hate to admit it, there's just something about getting older, we do slow down a little bit. Or at least I have. But I want to appeal to everybody, regardless of their age. Now, see on this one, it could have been a little bit better. See how thick it is on this side and how skinny on that side. However, it's going to work. It will work. But most of us as card makers, we really, really do want to put our best foot forward. And I think this one came out, see, a lot more balanced on that one. So now that's all the leaves. I'm going to, got my magnet board back behind me. And now, let me double check my flower. Make sure that looks pretty good. And here's the other thing. Do y'all ever second guess yourselves? I mean, seriously, do you? Do you second guess yourself ever? I do all the time. I wish I could come out of that. There are times I do better with it. But then I go right back into the same old habit of second guessing myself. And that did not come out bad. And for my card base, I'll tell you now, I'm using Coastal Cabana by Stampin' Up. It's a really pretty color. They are not the only company to have cardstock in that color range. Now how, yeah, this should be right here. There we go. There we go. I think. Yeah. There we go. Now, once again, without getting my head in the camera, one of these days, I probably need to just set up my camera and deliberately put my head in the camera because I don't know what it would look like to you guys. I have a little bit more gray than Jennifer McGuire does. And I don't know about y'all, but if she gets her head in the camera, I just say, God bless that sweet little head. I mean, you know, her and Gina both. God bless them. They sure do work hard. They sure are so good at what they do. But I have a couple other heroes. Wendy Cranford, Kelly Taylor, Artsy Island Girl, love her stuff. Juliana Michaels, love her stuff. And those are actually the people I watch most of all. Oh, there's other good ones out there too. Oh yeah, Amy, Prairie Paper and Ink out of Canada. Love that girl. Love her. I wasn't sure what I thought of her the very first time I caught one of her videos, but she is just adorable. Now we do have one more thing I've got to die cut. And it is my sentiment for this card. And I had picked out, I went back into my Waffle Flower A2 rectangle frame dies. Actually, I have two sets of their dies in here. The rectangle frame dies and the stitched rectangle dies. And I think, if I held my mouth right when I was kind of checking it out for size, this one is going to cut this out okay without it being cut off. But now, trying to make sure that is straight. I think it is. Oh heavens. If somehow this goes crooked, I will not redo it on the screen with you. We'll just put it to the side. We will move on. And get my little plates lined up. And you won't have to go through that again. Okay. I do still have my Hero Arts mini machine down there. Don't remember what they called. And you know, I don't even know if they're still making that available. Because it was a flash deal. Whose channel? Oh, Kathy Z. Yep, she's another one. I just happened to catch a video that she had come up with that very day. There we go. They're so sorry. And I'm not going to embellish it. I'm not going to put a shadow layer behind it or anything. I don't think at this point. So, we'll see. Okay, I'm going to put this to the side. And stick this die right back in here. Whoops. Well, so here's my frame. I forgot that's what the way this did. So, that's really cute. Can I get away with using that big an area? Don't know. Well, we'll find out. Alright, so now we have all of our pieces cut. Let me get my lethal weapons out of the way here. I shouldn't need them again. Now, you have seen me use this before. And this is the Honeybee Garden Lattice Cover Plate Base. There are two. You can use either one by itself. You could use them both together. It doesn't matter. And so, before, when I've showed it to you in a video, I used both pieces. But for today, we're only going to use this base piece. And I need my handy dandy score buddy. And here's my 4 1/4 by 11. Need to score that at 5 1/2. I don't like that. I don't like, I love my Teflon bone folder, and I'm probably going to need to get another one here pretty soon. I've been chewing this thing up. I'm not sure how I'm doing it. And say I've got a little divot right there on that end. I don't know how I got it in there, but somehow I did. Alright, make sure this is lined up. I'll bring my excess back to me. Again, this is Coastal Cabana by Stampin' Up. I like Gina K's colors. In fact, I have her like Turquoise Sea and Ocean Mist and Tranquil Teal. And I think I have all the colors that she has in that. But by using this thicker bone folder, you saw how thick that crease was. You see how flat it's laying? 9 times out of 10, I can get it to lay pretty flat. By using the silicone bone folder, putting more of a crease in it, and then once I have folded it over, taking that excess up toward the fold line. So, anyway, onward and upward. I just thought it was so cool the very first time I ever figured that out. And we're going to put a little bit of glue around the perimeter. And I am not going to put glue on every little bit of this. I'm going to put down enough for it to hold. And it's easier for me just to do a series of little dots. This is, by the way, this is Burley Art Glue. When it dries clear and it is not sticky. However, if you're using Tombow or another glue that does dry sticky, and it's not something that you can use an adhesive remover on, guys, there's some cardstocks out there that if you try to use that adhesive eraser, cardstock will just peel right up. And it's a shame that that is true, but it is true. If you are in that boat, take your anti-static powder tool that you use on your cardstock before you heat emboss. It'll take all the sticky, and you won't have to worry about messing up a card front or whatever. And yeah. Alright, where's my big block again? I'll lay that on there for just a second. I'm not going to need to glue right this minute, so I'm going to try to make sure that does not get clogged. And hold that there for a second, and we are going to bring in our pieces here. Okay. Now, it's not bad. Or do I want to go this way? I want to go this way. Let's get our leaves over here. I did hold them up so that you could see the transition of color there, right? Isn't that pretty? I love that. It's another one of my favorite green combos. So, let's see. I've got my press and seal here if I need it. Alright. May have to get my pokey tool to kind of help me out here. Now I don't, because this does fill up the card front, I don't want a leaf going off the edge. That won't work for me on this one. So, I have this huge, and I mean huge, grasshopper in my craft room. And when I saw him earlier, he was on the back porch yesterday. And he was just like, you know, I'm just hanging out, man. Just chilling here. And I was careful not to step on him coming and going. Well, evidently, I have a bad habit of not always shutting the door behind me if I'm just darting in to grab something. Y'all don't do that, do you? Anyway, he must have come in because he's in my window. This guy is this long. I am not exaggerating. He's a biggin'. And, oh heavens. I tried to get him this morning and he was having none of it. That's the same leaf. Okay, so. Wow. I'm thinking 4 is going to be good. I'm thinking I'm going to have 2 left over because honestly, okay, well, let's just see what it looks like with 5. See, that's going to kind of want to come off the edge there unless I shove it way back under. I really don't want to do that. Now, what I do want to do, see how close it is to this top corner up here and how far away it is here. So I want to move that down, get those a little bit more balanced. I want that there and that there. If I ever get this figured out, we'll put the press and seal on it. Hopefully. And this is pretty thick cardstock. Again, I use my Accent Opaque that I love so much. It's a 271 GSM. I think it's 110 pound. That part I don't remember too well. I don't really like a droopy leaf. I really would rather have this not look so sad. I don't know, can leaves look sad? Nah, it can't be hanging over the edge. Okay, I'm looking at it also through the camera to see how that's gonna look and understand. I gotta save some room for my sentiment. And at this point, this is closer here than it is there. Now we're kind of back where we need to be with the flowers. So I need just kind of sketch that over a little bit more. so I have a little bit more flexibility with this leaf. Are y'all screaming at me? Move this one here, move that one there. I think that's gonna work. And I've got a big piece because I didn't bother when I tore it off the roll. Okay, I got the sticky side up. When I tore it off the roll, oops, moved a little. Did it move too much? I think that'll be okay. Again, this is kind of slid down just a hair from where I had it, but let's see what I can do here. Now, Kelly Taylor taught me about the hinge method. You put enough press and seal down so that when you pick this up, it's still going to be grabbing on for you to. Yeah, this is pretty thick. Like, I may not even be able to do it this way, but it would be nice if I could. Okay, I want it up on that press and seal. And I haven't used this piece much. Not much. So the stick should be pretty good. Can I get that to come up right here? And that one. Ta-da! So far so good. Oh heavens. Okay, now let me bring my glue in. And I need to get this one. And this one. This one. Can y'all even see what I'm doing? Pretty much, kind of, sort of. Okay. The leaves will be the first thing to touch down. Now, can I get lucky enough to put this back over? Okay. Man, that's borderline right there, isn't it? And I'm just pressing on the leaves for just a second. Let that glue have a chance to bite and get a hold of it. And now all I have to do is the flowers. So really it's just the flowers I need to pick up. I don't want my card base to move. Okay. There we go. Now, if I held my mouth right, we ought to be pretty good here. We're in the home stretch. Okay. Is that about right? About right. Okay. See, you got a little wiggle room. Even if it jiggles and wiggles on you a little bit, you still got a little bit of wiggle room. Hold that for just a second. And I tell you what I kind of want to do. I kind of want to splatter because I enjoy that so much, but just on this particular card, I don't think I'm going to. And I don't know what you guys think. So can you see that Coastal Cabana in the back? And then you've got that yellow and orange. And then you have the real deep teal shading on the green leaves. What do you think? Think that's a good color combo? I hope so. Now, normally I double do my sentiments. But I think because this one will be delivered in person, I think I'm going to pop that up. And I hadn't even planned on it, but I think I'm gonna. Did I get my tape out? No. Let me get my roll. But now here's the thing. Do I want to do a little bit of ink blending around it? And if so, which color? If tears had a color, I think they would be orange. I kind of think they would. And so we're just going with what's left on here, which is not a whole lot. It's really soft. Yeah, if tears had a color, I think they would be orange. Okay. And then that around it. What do you think, guys? Think that looks okay? Tell you what. I have still got tons of Stampin' Dimensionals. So I may go ahead and try to use on these. But I need my minis. If I can find some. Here's some. I need my minis for the frame part. Okay. So I can use my big ones on the main sentiment. And then, not to be down in the doldrums, because I told you why I was making this card. If you want to stick around and look at some of the goodies I got for my birthday, you're welcome to. If you need to go, you need to go. That's okay too. Now, I appreciate each and every one of you being here with me. If you've made it this far, God bless you. God bless you. I'm going to have to start doing lives again. That's just all there is to it. I'm going to have to do lives so that we can converse back and forth. I mean, time goes by. So now I'm going to scoot this a little bit toward me in an attempt to get that on there straight. After all this time and effort and work, I would hate to get that on there crooked. Okay, I think I'm okay. All right, let me get my minis out. And I have a hard time finagling with these little devils, so I'm going to get my pick and stick tool here. And I do have the back side up. And I'm not going to just cover this in mini dimensionals because I am giving it in person. So I will take it to her church Sunday. There's a method to my madness here. I'm trying to get the flat sides to line. Oops, I think that's going to show. Yep, that little booger is going to show. I usually don't try again with the same one. Go ahead and get another one. I'm trying to get it mounted like a stop sign. Does that make sense? Where it's flat here and it's flat here. And I don't have a corner trying to stick out. Got two together at that point, and I can't have two together because I got to turn them. Is that one going to show? That's borderline. Nope. Okay. Okay. But anything worth doing is worth doing right. Right, ladies? I mean, we want to put our best foot forward. Y'all know how I am always generous with my dimensionals. I can't believe it is a year this month since I left Stampin' Up. And I'm still using a lot of Stampin' Up stuff. Okay, let's bring that over a little ways. Like I said, this doesn't have to be covered like it has measles. Okay, I'm thinking that one's sticking out. Kinda, sorta. Kinda, sorta. Sorry. You're a reject. Sorry about that. No fault of your own. That was my fault. But away you go. Okay, little fiddly things. And one or two more and we should be done. Let's put one here in the corner. And then one more on the side for good measure, and we're good. We're done. We're done. Now, let's make sure I don't see. Yeah, I do too. I do kinda. A little bit there. Now, once it is put down around, am I gonna see them? No, I'm not. So we're gonna go for the gold. This being in the middle is actually helping me and saving my bacon. So that I'm not standing here forever twiddling with it. I don't mind doing that when I'm on my own time, but I'm on your time. Okay. And then once it's all set and done, I will pick this up and see what you think. If I can let go of me. Okay. And am I sketched up correctly? I think so. Alright. What do you think, guys? Is that okay? Did that come out alright? I think that did okay. So, what do you think of the color choices? Did I do right? Did I do wrong? But I didn't want it to be like somber. And off screen, I will finish the inside because that's going to be a private thing. I'm sure I'll be crying as I'm writing in it, and I'll be saying even more prayers for her. You know, that God will pick her up and give her comfort and actually even some joy of the Lord. Because we know that He is with us and we are good to go no matter what happens in this life. So guys, let me very quickly bring this up. So here's our card. So here was one of the cards that was made for me. Isn't that precious? I love that. Love what she did there with the twine, and real sweet with how she finished it off. This was from my Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And these are some new dies and stamps from Stamping Up. And I forget the name of them off the top of my head. But I really like this stamp an awful lot. There is a coordinating die set. This is not the only flower in the set. These, now the dies, I think I remember, they're called Textured Notes, I think. And I'm just interested in dies. I'm not interested in... now, this may also be Textured Notes. I'm not sure. But each one of these has got a different pattern that it will put into your card. So, I loved it. Loved it. Wish I could have shown you the envelope that Deborah made me. But anyway, thank you so much, Brenda. Thank you so much, Sandy. Thank you. How cute her cards always are. Y'all will recognize this paper as being some older Stamping Up paper. This one came from a demonstrator in, I always get it backwards, South Carolina? North Carolina. South Carolina? Anyway, I thought it was a gatefold card. But this part is glued down. And so that was just really cute. And my sister, and my husband, and my sister-in-law, Linda, thank you. And my sister, Mary, thank you. And this one came from my mother-in-law. Love it. These two items right here, so I told you guys last week I didn't know if I could talk about it. Well, I am just a tiny bit. I'm not going to go into a lot of details. Right now I'm scrambling for my straight pen because I've left my bottle uncapped all this time. There we go. I was adopted when I was a child, and I never looked for my real mom or dad, because to me the people who raised me were my real mom and dad, and I just never had any idea to go looking. But my older son, one of my older sons did and was part of Ancestry.com. And I have now been introduced to a sister and a brother. And there's more. There's more sisters and more brothers than the ones I have been in touch with. But I have been in touch with my sister, Cheryl. And she sent me this beautiful card. And look what she made. Oh, I started crying when I opened it. We've never even met in person. Do you see the work she did on this? Oh, do you see how beautiful this is? And that's not all. On the inside, look at that. Look at that precious bookmark. And my Bible cover is blue, so it's just going to fit right in. In fact, it's got some of the same blue tones in the cover. Pair of yummy, yummy socks. And some beanie wafers. Ben wafers. Charleston's. Those look so yummy. And they look like something that I would love to have with a cup of coffee. Sipping in silence. Just, oh my word. My word. Anyway, I love this. I love this so much. This took time, y'all. She didn't just slap this together in 15, 20 minutes. She worked on this. And like I said, we have never even physically met yet. And I am praying that that day comes pretty soon. But I'm also praying for the Lord's timing on all that. So I've got a whole new adventure starting in my life. And now you will understand why. I've been a little bit distracted here and there. So anyway, guys, well, now I've got some hangers on. Here is this card, and here is this card. I don't know which one is your favorite, but y'all be blessed, be safe, know you are loved. God is good all the time. Bye.